Hello Big Brother fans, episode 26 review of Big Brother 14. There was so much that I wrote tonight, 3 pages, hello, hopefully this will go fast. We open, I always forget because I do these, the spoilers, and so the spoilers have us well in advance. The spoilers have us already talking about Wednesday's episode, if not Thursday's episode. And so it's always a shock when I go back and I'm watching this episode and going, oh that's right, that's where we left off. Here we go. We start off with Jen saying that she's alone because, you know, if they were willing to toss out Frank, they'd be more than willing to toss her out, since it was supposed to be Dan, Danielle, Frank, and Jen as, you know, the final four. So she's beginning to really get nervous at the beginning of this episode. But she decided that she was going to have to just stick it out with Dan and Danielle because she has no other options in the house. And I was thinking, isn't that funny? She kind of stuck with Joe just a little bit, but then, you know, when you start to think, it's like, really, do you want to, is that where you're going to hang your hat on Joe, who's never won a certain thing, you know, a single thing in the entire time? Anyway, Dan, oh my goodness, it was a whirlwind. Everything went so fast because this was the fast forward double elimination. So Dan was putting up Ian as a pawn, but to Shane he's saying we need to get Ian out of here, and then to Danny he says it's time for us to get rid of Ian. And then when when Jen comes along, he says, okay, we're gonna go after Ian. But they go and they then Danielle and Shane, you know, have their little tiny powwow because, you know, they're their little showmans, you know. They decide that, you know, Shane says, I'm okay with that. And in this episode we've seen a lot of Shane being the yes man. He doesn't care. He's gonna go with whoever will take him the furthest at this point. He doesn't care. So we watch the POV being played, which Ian wins, and so now the focus has changed, and Shane is now the one that Dan wants to focus on getting out. So then Dan talks to Danielle, and Danielle changes his mind and says, no, you know, I don't want him up, and so he says, okay, let's focus on Joe. So they go in and Ian pulls himself down, and as a shocker, you know, to the whole house, he throws Danielle up in as a replacement. This rattles Danielle's foundation because she wasn't told that she was going to be put up as the replacement. And even though she was absolutely safe, it's still, you know, Danielle in the house everything is about Danielle. And everything is, you know, is like a huge deal. She blows everything out of proportion. You know, so this was a personal attack on her, basically. And so she's freaking out and she's crying. And so Jen gets extremely pissed off because she wants to know why Shane didn't then become the focus. So when Danielle gets thrown up there, and that was the perfect excuse to get rid of Shane, Jen just begins to really worry about Dan at this point because she's thinking, okay, there's something other going on here, even though he secretly told her, you know, you're the final three with us, you know, we're going final three. And so, you know, she's wondering, okay, final three, but why are we doing this? Why did you waste your HOH on taking out a weak player like Joe when we could have, you know, really gone after the big guns, right? So she was very, very mad about that. And also, you know, because, you know, now that Jen and Danielle are the only girls left in the house, you know, they're kind of sticking together. And they pretty much have told one another they'd never vote each other out. And they said that later on in this episode. So the focus goes on to Joe. Ian was also frustrated that a weak person was sent out. He wanted Jen out. So it's just this whole... you know, the whole house was just freaking out because this person wanted that person and this person wanted this person because, you know, this alliance and this alliance, and it was just Dan in the middle of it all sitting pretty. And then he focused the blame onto Danielle, which in a way it was because, you know, he wanted Shane out and she refused to let up her little showman. So now he turned it around and told her, you know, it's all on you now. You know, we had my chance. I was going to do this. You didn't allow me to do it. It's all on you now, you know. So, pressure. Anyway, let's move on. So Jen is suspicious. Then Dan went to talk to Danielle, and said that I've saved Shane for you, so I need you to turn Shane around and not have him talk to Ian and let him know that we wanted Ian out. So then he passes the mist on to Danielle, and Danielle just mists all over Shane, because she was just like, I saved you. I don't want you to tell Dan or Ian anything about this. And after not even 20 seconds, he's promising nothing. Zip, throw away the key. Yes, man. So we move on to the HOH competition. It's raining. I hope it's not coming in the office. We move to the HOH competition, and when they walk outside, they see that the props have all been set up to show every game that they've played so far. And now this has been part of the Jedi drilling that Dan and Ian have gone through. They've paced everything for, this happened on this day, this happened on this day, this week, and, this competition, etc., etc. They do this almost pretty much nightly, I would say. And so anyways, Ian was very happy because, this is right up his block. Dan can't do it. He's HOH, so he can't move in, he can't play HOH, so he's kind of screwed in that, sense. So it's basically memory lane, and he's happy because it's his photographic memory that's going to come into place. However, it wasn't just, these dates, because they've all studied. They all either pretended they knew or really knew what day things happened. And so they're given a ball and a slide, and you have to guess what day this certain event happened, and then you have to maneuver the ball, and then you have to toss it out, and it has to fall into the numbered slot. So I mean, it basically, you had to know your thing, you had to know the answer, but it was all based on luck, because the ball could have and then rolled off, like I think it was it Danielle or something, that it ran all the way over into the 2, when it was supposed to be like something like 19 or 30 or whatever. So it's like it was based mostly on luck versus skill. So they had to move into a tiebreaker because Shane and Ian were tied, and then as luck would have it, Ian won. So Ian is now the current HOH after praying to God. So now we have huddles going around, we have Jen talking to Ian saying, I've never done you wrong, and Ian saying, yeah, others have put me up, and Jen says, like this, and I'm thinking, but you know what? Jen's never had the chance to put you up, Ian. Remember now, she's never been an HOH, so you have to take those sorts of things into consideration. Danielle was early in the game when she became HOH. With same thing with Shane. All these people have had early HOHs. The only HOH that's been really current where he's been able to be thrown up, it has been Dan. And of course he did take that into consideration. So we move on, and Ian talks to Dan and says that he wants to keep up appearances, and since you put me up, I'm going to put you up. And Dan was not happy with that. He was like, so psh, you know what happened? That's right, the mist came out. So later on, he goes upstairs and he talks him out of putting him up, and flips it around and becomes HOH when I didn't know, but he took over the HOH, and he suggests Jen and Shane. And wouldn't you know, Jen and Shane have been put up. So, they go through their little talks, every night, and Ian says, well, how can I justify that as, as a valid, nomination? And Dan says, just say that he's a better player, but just let him know that, he's safe and it doesn't really matter. He's just the pawn. So bless Shane's heart. He's gone through this whole time, until the POV and all this, all this time that he's safe, he's just a pawn. So he's clueless, he's happy in the house. And anyway, then Dan seals the pact by saying, renegades, death before dishonor. Seriously. Ian, you've watched this game since you were, what, 10 or 11? You've seen Dan play not once, but twice, and there. Anyway, here we go. Let's see. Well, so Pandora's box. So everyone knows that, they had talked about this before because they had a feeling that there was going to be another Pandora's box, and you always know that there's going to be good and bad. Someone's going to get the good, someone's going to get the bad. And Ian was tempted to the stars and beyond by seeing a picture of his parents, so he thought that he was going to get a video of his parents when in fact it was a video of Rachel. And I mean, I made it no secret that I enjoy Rachel. I think that she's not as clueless as everyone would like to think she is. She's ditzy, she's silly and then beyond, but you have to admit she was able to laugh at herself, I mean, just the things, like, hey boy, hey, and you're gonna learn how to win from me. I mean, seriously, that's so hilarious. So anyway, we got, let's see, Dan. Oh, that's right. They got their, so he got the Goofy, video, and the rest of the house guests got their family videos. And so we see first Shane getting a video from his sister, and then we see Danielle get a video from her sister, and then Dan gets his video from Chelsea, and he just breaks down and cries. And he says that he tries to separate his feelings from this game, and having this this video come into play this late into the game kind of really can mess with you, and your feelings and your emotions, your game period. Some people it can be a really good thing, but for the way that Dan plays this game by totally removing himself from this whole reality and playing it as the game that it is, meaning he will backstab you, he will do whatever it takes to get him to that $500,000, that can really mess with a person's mind and game. So that was a good / bad thing. Jen got a video from her mom. I think it was like the other day, she was having a heart-to-heart with Dan. She talks to her mom every single day, so she's really truly missed her mom, and I don't think they focused that much, they focused on that, but that in itself was just enough, to pick her up and get her to try to, refocus her game and whatnot. Danielle is really weird in that she's kind of separated from her family. Like, she hasn't talked to her dad in, I want to say, a year, but don't quote me there. If I'm not mistaken, I think she even said that one of her sisters, she hasn't talked to in a good long time, and I'm thinking, how does that happen? But that's not here nor there, I mean, there's a sister thing. There's a sister thing. How do people not keep in contact with their family? I just don't get it. Anyway, we had the nomination ceremony. Danielle's key was taken out first, and Dan's was taken out last. Only two. And then Shane and Jen were put on the block, and no reason was given at all. It was just that this is not an easy decision. The veto is really what counts, so go out there and play well. And we're told that we are going to be back Wednesday with a special eviction on Wednesday. The actual eviction happens Tuesday, so the live feeds are all going to be shut down from Tuesday until the show airs on Wednesday night, I think. And then it'll come back briefly and then shut down for Thursday, I think. So I don't know how many more spoilers there are going to be coming up and revealed, but I know definitely we won't know if Shane is going to be able to come down, or Jen, who's going to win the POV. Who knows? It might be Ian. If you're into spoilers, go to the spoiler. It's revealed who has won the POV, and we'll see the nomination ceremony. It's gonna. I do know that it's gonna be a very exciting show on Wednesday. So we will see you then after the show. Bye.